Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another Friday Findings video at my YouTube channel and my blog. If you're just getting into wire working, it can be confusing to know what type of wire you need to use in your projects. So today I'm going to give you some tips to help you know just what it is you're working with and what you need for what you want to accomplish. So you've decided you want to make some wire jewelry. Or maybe you want to use wire in your jewelry making and you go to purchase it and what you see is a dizzying array of wires to choose from. And so you're wondering, what type should I use for my project? So the best answer I can give you about which of these to choose for your project is it depends. It depends on what it is that you're trying to accomplish and what you want the wire to do for you. Now, the first thing you need to understand when you're choosing wire is the concept of gauge. Gauge is simply the thickness of the wire. Now, here I have some rather thick wire, and then here's another one that's very fine. This is thread-like. Now, this is 12 gauge wire, and this is 34 gauge. So one thing you need to know when you go and purchase the wire is that the higher the number, the finer the wire. And you can buy wire heavier than this. You can buy 6 gauge, really thick, chunky stuff. It just depends on what it is that you want to do. So like for this 12 gauge wire, I use this to make hammered bangle bracelets. But this stuff is great for wiring beads onto maybe another heavier wire frame. 20 gauge wire is good if you want to make your own ear wires. If you go much thicker than that, sometimes they're like this, 18 gauge, but they can be a little bit thick and uncomfortable in your pierced ears. So usually 20 gauge is good. It's thick enough to hold its shape, but thin enough to be comfortable to wear. So if you want to use your wire for some kind of structure, then it needs to be a thick enough gauge to be able to hold its shape for you. Like for making wire words, this is just going to flop about and not hold its shape. This is 20 gauge wire and it's holding its shape pretty nicely. And now there are a few other things about wire. First of all, you can see from the array I have here that you find them in different colors. This is copper wire. This is just a craft wire, aluminum. But I do have some sterling silver filled wire, which is nice. And I even have a little bit of gold filled wire. This is probably $5 worth of gold-filled wire. But there's also inexpensive craft wires that you can get at the craft store. They have a coating. It's usually copper wire in the middle with a coating that colors them. One of the things to keep in mind is what kind of finish do you want on your jewelry. If you like a nice patina, then copper or sterling silver filled is nice because you can darken it and then you can polish up the high points and then the darkness is in the crevices, enhancing the details. But when you get copper wire, make sure you get bare copper wire because there are craft copper wires that have an anti-tarnish coating and then you won't get the patina. And also if you're doing a lot of manipulating a wire that's coated like this, sometimes the coating can flake off. So you need to watch the quality of what you've got. Sterling silver filled is a much thicker coating than sterling silver plated. So again, if you're doing something with a lot of manipulating, you probably want the sterling silver filled so that the plating doesn't chip off. Like this is this is craft wire. It's fairly inexpensive, and that's another indicator of the quality that you get. It says sterling silver plated, but I wouldn't use this for anything that I was doing a lot of manipulating with because often the copper core shows and it doesn't look very nice. And there's other wires that aren't specifically meant for jewelry. This is aluminum wire. You could see it's very soft even though it's as thick as this one. I use this for armatures and shaping. I don't know that I would ever use it in jewelry. And by the way, there is a tool out there, a wire gauge, that will help you determine what size your wire is. So those are just a few tips for you to help you choose the right wire for your project and a little bit about gauge. So happy creating with wire. Thanks for watching Keepsake Crafts videos. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share. And if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do for 3 new videos every week. I upload on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you like, you can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and on my blog.